Welcome back. It's Scotty and Motty. And yes, he just told me I'm introducing it 2 seconds before we join air. Nice to be
The
back.
professional you are, yeah, you rose to the occasion because you've done this before. It is nice, but I feel like we've not seen each other for
It's about a month.
years. How long's it been?
It's probably about a month, I think. I went to hospital on March the 2nd.
Yeah, are you all right?
I'm all right. Yeah.
All right. Don't need to go on about it.
Yeah.
All right, bloody hell,
Fine.
milk it. But
Thanks for the flowers and the chocolates and the...
Well, I was going to say, I got you some chocolates, but I thought I'd try 1 or 2 of them just to see what they were like.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, that's...
Yeah, but the thought was there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I know you don't like flowers anyway, do you?
I do.
So...
I'm a modern man.
Oh, that was it. They didn't have the flowers that you like. What flowers is it you like?
What flowers do you think I would like?
I think you like lilies.
No, they're for dead people. You don't give someone in hospital lilies.
All right, okay. Roses.
Nah.
I'm tulips.
They're the ones. Big fan of the tulip.
Oh, they didn't have any tulips.
Sturdy little...
Daffodils. They didn't have any of them either. No, you're not into them.
No.
I'm rapidly running out of flowers, man. I don't know many flowers.
That's why this is
Flowers
a
and
florist
herbs.
show.
I don't know many.
Flowers and herbs.
Yeah, I don't know many herbs either.
Oregano.
Yeah, that's one. I know that one. Parsley, basil.
Yeah. Basil.
Basil foliage. Hey. And that's about it, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, oregano. Oh no, you said oregano.
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 Oregano. Good word for Mancunian.
Cinnamon, is that a spice? That's a
think
spice
so.
in it. Oh, hello. We've got all sorts going on behind us there. Producer Ethan is helping us out, by the way, tonight. Shout out to producer Ethan. Yeah, I don't know many spices and herbs.
Right, okay.
Because I was trying to list some the other day and I got to about 5 and that was it. So
You don't cook much though, do you?
No, well, I started doing this thing now. On a Thursday, I'll cook. So last Thursday, you'd be proud of me, I made, it was a pasta. It was a chorizo and chicken creamy pasta.
Right, is this cooked from scratch or is this like, yeah?
Yeah.
Fair
Yeah, I
play
made
to you.
like the pasta from, the sauce from nothing. Well, not from nothing. From like... from
a fairy
obviously
godmother.
ingredient. Yeah, like click
yeah,
your fingers
yeah,
and
yeah.
it was like Neo from the Matrix. It was just there. No, so I made it from scratch, and then the week before I did a steak burrito thing. So I'm trying to make it like
That's
a proper
good.
like, bro, right? Saddam Hussein's bunker is tidier than my kitchen by the time I
You
finish.
finished with
It's
it?
fucking bomb site. So
Right,
I have
but
to
as long as
spend
there's
more
food at
time
the end
cleaning
of it.
There's food there, and then I have to clean up after myself because otherwise it defeats the objects of me doing a nice thing for my missus.
Whilst I'm massively impressed that you've entered into the kitchen and started cooking, I'm more impressed at the fact that you're doing it only 1 day a week.
Yeah.
And how you've got away with that. And how long have you and your lady friend been together now?
10 years.
And how many kids you got?
3.
And now you've this year you started cooking 1 day a week.
This is gonna make you even more annoyed with me. I only cook for me and her as well.
You don't cook for your own kids?
The deal is, she does the kids, like she cooks for the kids.
Kids are easy to cook
and
for,
I know, no,
man.
like, can I just clarify something? I do cook for the kids. I do cook for the family. In lockdown, I became the cook. So she'd keep the house tidy and did a lot of the teaching, the homeschooling. I'd make the meals, but it was just like, you know, basic like pizza or fish fingers and chips and stuff like that. And I still do that.
Yeah.
Like at the weekend, I'll happily cook tea and stuff. But what I've started doing is like making a nice meal for me and her. So it's not just, I'll make us, you know, burgers or whatever. I'll make something where I've had to go and get ingredients.
That's nice.
And get a recipe.
You forage.
Yeah, I forage.
Yeah,
I forage and pillage.
What's this Thursday?
I don't know, you know. Have you got any suggestions? Because you're a bit of a, you know.
You don't like curry though. I'm a big fan of spicy food.
I could do a curry. What type of curry though? A korma.
I don't really call them names. It depends on how much spice. I mean, I'm having Chinese tonight. Though.
Oh, I love Chinese.
Hot
mate.
and sour soup and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
I love Chinese, mate. Honestly, my favourite type of food. Anyway, that concludes Scotty and Motty. We've covered all the
We seem
bases
to have
there.
versions to Sloppy Joe's territory there.
It's a bit of Sloppy Joe's / the brew. Whenever we do the brew, we always end up on just waffling nonsense about anything. But, you know, we've not seen each other for a little while, so we're having a bit of a catch-up, aren't we?
And before we talk spices and flowers.
Do you cook then at home?
I cook all the time. I love cooking.
You are a bit of a foodie, you are.
I used to work as a chef.
Where?
On a boat.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
In Nottingham. And
This story gets better with every sentence. I used to work as a chef on a boat in Nottingham at night.
on the River Trent.
Really?
Yeah.
That's sick, that.
When I was at university.
Yeah. Well, see, hang on a minute. You're at uni.
Yeah.
And your job was a chef.
Yeah, well, my part-time job was a chef, yeah. Like cooking for people up and down. No, then boat cruises up and down
So
the
you've
thing.
been trained?
Yeah, sort of. I didn't get any certificates and stuff. They said it's pretty much like standard fare where you were cooking and stuff.
What sort of meals were you cooking?
like Sunday dinners and stuff, like big, like that was one of the things.
Oh,
I used to
you
do.
know
Sort of Sunday, I go out, I could do like a reduced red wine. Used to have like this fine dining evening, but it was always the same shit every week. So once you'd sort of mastered it, but I think I'm a dab hand in the kitchen.
No, that's good, man. My missus made a nice Sunday dinner yesterday with inside a big Yorkshire pudding. There's a big Yorkshire pudding with the Sunday dinner inside. It was sick, bro.
Ooh,
really nice.
I do love a Yorkshire pudding.
We're going to talk about the Premier League Hall of Fame. Before we get into it, I want to ask you straight up: do you get annoyed or bothered by the Hall of Fame?
I get annoyed as much at the Hall of Fame as I do about the stitching of the St George's flag on an England shirt. If I'm absolutely honest, I like to put a tweet out just to pretend that I actually give a toss, but I don't really care.
Right.
I think trophies at the end of the day matter when you're sort of a footballer around.
You did a good tweet you earlier. I remembered it because it's one of the few ones that you did that I liked. I mean, it was one of your usual really good ones.
So much.
We have got a super chat which I'm going to read out in a minute as well, by the way. But I like the fact that you did a nice little bit. I liked it. See?
Yeah.
It's already like, there you go. And you said, I've always said that when deciding a left back for the Premier League Hall of Fame, you don't want to choose the player that has won the more titles, scored more goals, has the best clean sheets to games ratio.
Because that'd be ridiculous.
Yeah, and I like the fact you've used ellipsis there to highlight the fact you've been Saki. It's a lost start, that. Yeah, because Ashley Cole has been inducted in over, I presume you were talking about over Dennis Irwin.
Yes.
Yeah. Who I think, if you're going to pick a left back, I would go with Dennis Irwin personally. But the Hall of Fame people have gone with Ashley Cole. Just before we get to that, I want to talk about the flowers because Petke in the super chat says, carnations, those are the cheap flowers. Fiver should cover it. Also, cheers and that, Jay. Nice one, brother.
Carnations.
Yeah. I always think of spies when I think of carnations. Do you know, I'll be wearing a red carnation, carrying a copy
when
of
you're going on your first date or whatever.
Yeah, like it's like a signal in it before the internet and all that. My lady friend's in the super chat. She says it was nice. Oh, not in the super chat. In the chat, she says it was nice. To be fair, there you go.
That's good.
So
it was nice.
What's wrong with that? You see how you're
nice.
trying to cause a domestic? You
nice. There wasn't. You know, she could have given a bit more of a glowing review.
Nah.
If I went on like Restaurant Advisor or whatever and I said it was nice.
What? So you think
she could have been elaborate a little bit more?
You think that's
she didn't die from
damning
food
with faint
poisoning?
praise?
I think so. Yeah.
Like it's nice, but we have this thing like because I used to get in trouble for saying you look all right or you look decent.
Yeah, look, decent's better than nice.
Decent's good, isn't it? I always say that.
Decent is better than
like
nice.
Decent, yeah. So all right, so
like Ashley Cole was a nice left back.
Right.
Dennis Irwin was decent.
Yeah, decent is more emphatic in it. I just feel right. Can we address the elephant in the room?
Yeah, please do.
Because. No, you don't need to get up now. I don't know what you're doing. No, it's all right. It's all right. Not yet. Thank you. Give me a minute. Sorry, producer Ethan's on it. I feel like the Premier League Hall of Fame got off on the wrong foot because you've got a guy there who's won 13 Premier League titles.
Yeah.
And you don't want to put him in there because he had an ongoing court case, right? I get that. I understand it. The court case is now finished and he hasn't been found guilty, yeah? But you're still not putting him in, despite the fact he's won 13 Premier League titles.
Yeah.
It just seems like you've kind of made a bit of a rod for your own back here because you're going, okay, we've taken a moral judgment here. Because let's face facts, if it was just based on achievements, the guy that's won 13 Premier League titles, which is Ryan Giggs, he's not Voldemort, I can say his name, would be in there. But you're saying, no, we're not going to do that because of things not concerned with football. But then the guy that has been found guilty by the FA for racially abusing a fellow pro, he's in the nominees list. That's all right. So it does seem to me like it's slightly flawed.
Slightly.
Just from a moral point of view.
Yeah.
Because you're going, okay, the guy that did have a court case, now hasn't, and hasn't been found guilty of anything, we're still not going to include him. But the guy that also got found not guilty in court, but was found guilty by the FA for racially abusing a fellow pro, we're going to leave him in. Do you see the problem I've got with that?
I see the problem. Who chooses, like, where's it come
I think they
to?
narrow it down, like the committee. They narrow it down they not narrow it down. They narrow it down. They give you a list and then the fans can choose.
Right,
so you can
okay.
vote. Me and you can vote. Not that we probably will, because
No.
we can't be bothered. But I think the original sort of inductees they chose and then they put it to a vote from a list. But again, I mean, I don't want to like become like a proper little sort of gammon and going, oh, I'll tell you what, that's not the St George's flag, or that's not the Premier League. But it's been flawed from the start. And little things annoy me about it, right? It's like when they inducted Fergie into it, they did Wenger as well.
At the same time?
Yeah. That's dumb.
Yeah.
Like, one's won 13 titles, one's won 3. Like, they're not the same. And you've made it, oh, well, you should have just done Fergie on his own because he's far and away the most successful Premier League manager. Even if you might think that...
Nobody would have said anything, though.
No.
Like, nobody would have gone, why have you not put Wenger in alongside him? They're not like Ant and Deck either. You can have them on their own merit.
Yeah, they couldn't do that. They had to put them in together.
Yeah.
It was so stupid. And it's like, why? And then the whole thing where apparently Giggs was going to be in it. I think it was going to be Giggs and Shearer, but then they changed it to Shearer and Henry, I think, the first ones. And then you've got other nominees where you go, well, actually, we don't really care what he's done. We're going to put him in it. It just seems deeply, deeply flawed to me. And I think that whilst there's some names in there I completely agree with, for example, I don't have a problem with Shearer being in there. I get it. Eric's in there. Keno's in there.
I think that you should have won a league title.
You should have won a league title.
As a basis.
Gerrard's in there. He shouldn't have.
No, he should. What for? It's a Premier League purely, isn't it?
You can't count the Champions League.
No, right. So
otherwise, you may as well put Casemiro in there.
Yeah. So he's done nothing in the Premier League, has he?
No.
So
no, I agree. Also, little things like Dennis Bergkamp's in there. Okay, yeah, good player. Yeah. Why is Andy Cole not in there?
I think the problem is that I don't think that what we look to Man United have him because we were so dominant.
That's the thing, though, isn't it? That's the
exactly
problem.
That's the problem. But that's not our fault.
No.
That's not like oh God, I was too successful.
Yeah. We've won over like a third of the Premier Leagues, almost like not far off half. Yeah. It's not our fault, but you're going to have lots and lots of Manchester United players in there because we've won 13 titles. So they've gone, oh, we can't do that. Let's not put Andy Cole in there. Let's put Dennis Bergkamp in there. And some of it I get, like Frank Lampard being in there. I ain't got a problem with that. Has he won, 3 Premier League titles? Yeah. Chelsea's top scorer. Deserves it. Deserves to be in there. There's not, like, I'm not against all the people in there. Ian Wright, I like Ian Wright. But again, why is Ian Wright in there over Andy Cole? I keep going on about Andy Cole because I just think he's been robbed. Ian Wright's won 1 Premier League title. Andy Cole's won 5. Andy Cole scored more Premier League goals.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
There's no metric you can use for me that says Ian Wright deserves to be in it over Andy Cole. And that's not hating on Ian Wright. That's questioning why Andy Cole's being made.
But there's a problem with it being a public vote at the end then, is it?
Well, now we've got the nominees. So now, if you go into the nominees, and I'm sorry, I'll get into some of the comments in the chat. There'll be some people that don't care about this, and I understand that. But in the nominees now, right, you've got, so these are the people you can vote for. The vote closes on the 8th of April. So you've got Sol Campbell, Michael Carrick, Andy Cole, Jermaine Defoe, Cesc Fabregas, Les Ferdinand, Robbie Fowler, Eden Hazard, Gary Neville, Michael Owen, David Silva, John Terry, Yaya Toure, Edwin van der Sar, and Nemanja Matic. So straight away there, you can only choose one. Now, you know part of the problem here?
Go on.
You've split the vote amongst United fans.
Good point, yeah.
Because you've got, 1, 2... Sorry, I'm just doing some quick math. 3. I'm not counting Michael Owen as a United player. 5 United players in there.
Right, okay. So not every United fan's going to go for the same.
No. Like, some may vote for Carrick, some may vote for Cole, some may say, you know what, Van der Sar for me or whatever. Vidic is very popular amongst the fan base. So you've got that element as well. Whereas you've only got, I think, is it 2 Chelsea players in John Terry and Cesc Fabregas? Oh, sorry, 3 counting Fabregas, but... And then Eden Hazard. You've got how many Liverpool players? You've got 2, but you've got Michael Owen and Robbie Fowler. Let me give you a little bit of a plot spoiler here. No Liverpool fan is voting for Michael Owen.
No.
Yeah? Every single Liverpool fan that votes is putting their vote for Robbie Fowler. I guarantee you, as sure as the day's long, Michael Owen ain't going to be the next inductee into the Premier League Hall of Fame because nobody really likes him.
No, I don't.
Out of the fans. Like, United fans don't really like him because he's just sort of disowned us. Liverpool fans hate him because he played for Manchester United. Newcastle fans don't like him because he was a waste of space when he was at St James's, and Stoke fans, I don't think care about him.
I think Real Madrid fans looked at him.
Yeah,
he did all right in Madrid.
He did all right with him. You know what I mean? But I don't see Liverpool fans or United fans queuing up to vote for him. So I just feel like it's yeah. Andy Long says, I'll go through some of the comments, right? Amaya Kakale says, is there a golden toilet after that then, Jay? I don't know what that was referring to. Sorry, forgive me. I think that was me cooking. Raf22 says, moral judgment. Yeah, Terry and Ashley Cole are in there, who are morally deplorable. There you go, you see. Andy's Cardboard Star Wars says, Hall of Fame was always going to be anti-United. How is your anti-United? She all right?
Yeah, it's fine. Arthritis is playing up a little bit, but it's
Oh, mate, wish him the best. Andy Long says, lol, Jay's surprised by the FA being inconsistent. Forest and Everton not only have a couple of charges and get punished, City have 115 and are allowed to carry on stealing trophies from rule-abiding teams. Yep, I understand that. Ross McPherson says, it's ridiculous that Coley, Andy, isn't in there yet. I agree. Mick O'Hallahan says, I'm convinced there's no committee and they wing the nominations. Ridwan says Fabregas should have been in there way before Gerrard. So he would have had Fabregas in there.
He won Premier League, didn't he?
He won it with Chelsea.
Yeah.
I mean, I get your point. I think if you've not won it, it's flawed. And I think I think it was a little bit like, let's placate Liverpool fans. But there's other Liverpool players you could put in ahead of.
There's better players in that list that I made that nominees list that play for, let's say, small clubs. Why is nobody else getting coming through? If you look at because what have you got there? You've got like Newcastle, Chelsea, Liverpool. The big six, I suppose.
Yeah.
Are you telling me when the Premier League start, 92, 93?
92, 93.
Right. Okay. There's no other players that were decent from any of the other clubs.
Yeah, it does seem a little bit weird, doesn't it? Like, because it's very, like, if you look at the inductees.
Like, Les Ferdinand's on there. I think David Ginola was a far better player than Les Ferdinand.
I get your point now. I'm still annoyed at David Ginola winning Player of the Year this season when he won the treble.
Yeah.
They finished 11th.
He had great hair, though.
He did have great hair, I'll give you that one. No, I hear you. I do. I think it's very sort of, again, you'd expect them to be quite a few Arsenal and United players in there, but also, like, yeah, some of it.
Is there any Spurs players that have made it?
No.
Like, who's been Spurs' best player over the sort of...
Harry Kane. But he's not retired.
He's not retired. You've got to retire.
He's not retired. Other than Harry Kane. I mean, Sol Campbell, I think he's nominated, but he'll be nominated for what he's done at Arsenal. Who else is there for Spurs?
Yeah, but there must be like cult heroes for other clubs. There's one that's on the edge of my tongue, but because of the sort of tinfoil hat that he tends to wear, I'm not...
Matt Letizia?
You can mention him.
Matt Letizia?
Yeah, but
he's the ultimate,
right,
outside of the top clubs, best player.
Yeah, easily. So should he not be on there? Should he not make the list?
What if he uses that platform he gets given from being nominated to stop people having life-saving vaccinations?
Right, how about Zola? Chelsea?
Zola's always considered the best player in it for Chelsea, like their cult hero. How
is he not on there? Bergkamp? Because it was always Cantona, Bergkamp and Zola.
Yeah, I get you. I do. This is what I mean. No,
I think like we've got recency bias in terms of how good these players are.
I think people forget, right, that the Premier League existed between 92 and whenever.
I know you're going to talk about something else in a minute, but what did you make of Gerard Piqué's?
Gerard Piqué.
Gerard Piqué's. Why has he got an L in his name?
Gerard Piqué's not got an L in his name.
Sorry, I'm still on painkillers. Right.
No,
I'll take the L.
You just give him an L.
I'll take the L.
Take the L. Nice.
Right. What his comments were about players in the 90s wouldn't be able to play professional football today. Do you agree with that sentiment?
No, I completely disagree with it. I think that any player in any era, I think top player can play in any era.
Right.
And I think you have to look at certain circumstances back in the day made it harder for players. Certain circumstances might have made it easier. But let's say, for example, I was talking this on the Paddock podcast earlier, right? Now VAR is a thing. Refs blow up quite a lot. Like, if you're a defender now, have you got it easier than you had it in the 90s? Where strikers could more or less just kick 7 bells at you and, elbow you out of the way, score, and the goal would count. So was it harder then? Also, some of the pitches were terrible. You don't get many really bad pitches in the Premier League anymore.
No.
You remember like going to Old Trafford? You went to Old Trafford in the early 90s. It was like Battle of the Somme.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
That was considered a good pitch.
It was. That was one. That was considered a pitch that Fergie, took time to try and make better. It was terrible, and yet that was like that. Like you said, that's a good pitch. And yet you go to places like Plough Lane or Sellers Park or whatever when Wimbledon played. It was like my lad who's 8 playing football plays on better pitches than the sort of Division 1 Premier League early. So you've got that. Some of the challenges. So the diet wasn't right because they didn't know about diet.
No, you were allowed to sort of go out and get levered most weekends after.
Do you know what I mean?
A game.
Arsenal won the league with a team in '91, and half of them were alcoholics.
Yeah,
and they won the league. Like, so now, if you're playing now, you'd have better nutrition, better dieting, better training, you'd have better pitches.
And you live more of a sort of insular lifestyle as well compared to what you did back then. Because I think whilst we were growing up, and it was great to always, you could see you could meet players a lot more and sort of interact with the everyday man. But now it's because they seem to live in their own sort of lane. They seem to have a better lifestyle in terms of like looking after the fitness. I thought it was an interesting question.
Yeah, no. Sorry, again. People have mentioned this, and I should have said it. Ross McPherson says Bale for Spurs.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
He's a better footballer than half of them ones that are on there.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. It's weird, isn't it? Because what do you choose when you're looking at this? Do you choose longevity or do you choose who was the best one?
Well, best one is always subjective,
better.
isn't it? Better.
Because for me, right, I don't care about longevity. So I would have Yapstam. What you pause? As my lady friend will testify to what.
I don't care. I like it.
Yeah. As long as 30 seconds is long enough, as long as you do well in them 30 seconds. No, but I like Yapstam is my favourite. My favourite United defender ever.
Yeah.
Even over Rio, I love Rio. And I think Yapstam for those 3 seasons, and one of those seasons he's injured for half of it, was phenomenal. Won a title every season, won a treble, won a Champions League, won an FA Cup, obviously. Like, I think Ronaldo, okay, someone like Henry had a better, longer career in the Premier League, but Ronaldo won a Ballon d'Or in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Like, he won.
It's been more prolific within the sort of shorter time.
And also, Ronaldo is a consideration for the greatest player of all time. He's in that conversation.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone else who's played in the Premier League is. Genuinely.
No, difficult to sort of think.
Like, you might think Henry's mint, and I agree. You might think Scholes is mint, and I agree. Would you say that Paul Scholes is the greatest player that's ever played football? Would you have that argument?
No, probably not.
Would you have that argument that Thierry Henry is the best player that ever played football?
Well, what do you base
you could have that argument on Ronaldo.
Yeah. Do you base it like Paul Scholes not being up there because of his ability or his lack of sort of, because obviously Ronaldo went around the globe playing his trade, and that helps.
The type of player you were as well. Like, I think it's much harder to be.
Yeah, but Xavi and Iniesta are up there, aren't they?
I wouldn't say they're the
best. They're not there, but they're not up.
I wouldn't say that. It's such a small. Like, I think the only people that are genuinely in the conversation for the best players of all time are Pele, Maradona, Ronaldo, and Messi. If we're being brutally honest.
And Zidane.
I
think Zinedine Zidane, for an all-round footballer.
Don't answer Stephen Howson.
Why?
You don't rate him.
He doesn't rate Zidane.
No. He says, Stephen Howson has a theory about international football, right? He says that international football is massively overrated, and he says that Zidane,
he did it at Madrid.
He's won a Champions League in Madrid,
and he did it in Italy.
He did well at Juve, but Steve says that Zidane is so revered because of what he did for France rather than what he did at club level, and he says that what he did for France, while it was amazing, he said international football is a bit of an outlier. It doesn't give you a true reflection of how good someone is. I'm just telling you, have this conversation with him. I don't think. I'll be honest with you. I think Zidane was excellent. I don't think you're the first person I've really genuinely spoke to who says he's in that conversation for the greatest of all time. So. I mean, I'm not going to say he's not. I'm just saying, all right, even if you had Zidane, right, he never played in the Premier League. So you still only got the one player in the who's played in the Premier League who you could say is a genuine contender for the GOAT. I think like the big debate used to be Messi and Ronaldo. And since Messi won the World Cup, it's kind of gone, well, Messi's better. But I think which is a bit unfair. I think you either believe it or you don't. But I don't think the World Cup necessarily makes that so, personally. Or Maradona, who'd be my own.
Maradona would be mine.
And not just because of what he did at Argentina, what he did at Napoli was ridiculous. And also Pele, because, okay, you go, that is international football, but to win 3 World Cups, it's just stupid, isn't it?
Yeah.
Come on, like, there's no doubt. But before we move on, we're big in the game now, me and you.
You've been busy since I've been away.
I've been busy, right? Because people want to work with us. And Surfshark, right, who are the go-to people for all your VPN needs, yeah, they've got in touch and they've showed us why you should use Surfshark. You'll notice there's a link in the description and there's a little reminder on how good Surfshark are and why, when you want to watch the match, especially when you're abroad, you should use Surfshark. If you're watching from outside the UK, whether you live abroad or you might be away on your holes, United matches are often subject to regional broadcasting rights, meaning that certain games may only be available to viewers in specific countries. Surfshark VPN allows users to connect to servers in different countries, effectively bypassing these geo restrictions. This means you can access streaming platforms or channels broadcasting soccer matches from anywhere in the world, making sure you never have to miss the action. You don't want to miss any of those big games. Surfshark VPN provides users with access to servers in numerous countries. This means that United fans can easily switch their virtual locations to countries where matches are freely available or where broadcasting rights are less restricted. This opens a wider range of channels to watch United games live. Surfshark VPN also encrypts your internet connection, ensuring that your online activities, including streaming soccer matches, remain private and secure. This is very useful if you're accessing streaming sites from public Wi-Fi networks where security risks may be higher. By connecting to optimized servers provided by Surfshark VPN, users may experience faster streaming speeds and reduced buffering. So you're not waiting ages to find out if that last-minute winner actually was a goal. You're not waiting for the VAR decision for even longer. Overall, Surfshark VPN offers United fans the flexibility, security and accessibility they need to watch the Reds from anywhere in the world, making it the best choice for streaming content. Use the code SAM24, that's Scotty and Motty 24, SAM24 for 3 months free. There's a link in the description and as the pinned comment.
Surfshark, man, I'm very excited about this.
I am.
Because I actually use it.
When you say I actually use it, like you don't use all the products that you have done a live read for before?
Maybe not. When they send the stuff through, I'll use it. But yeah, I do use it.
Yeah, it's very handy. Big thank you to Surfshark sponsoring his podcast. Mick Olahan sort of says, oh, right, Steve has some awful opinions. We all have awful opinions on certain things. What about George Best? What about Cruyff lad, says Mike Fergus, on the GOATs of all time? Again, I don't think you can put Best in there just because of the shortness of his actual dominance.
Well, but you were just using that of what he achieved as a shortness.
Not for the GOAT, I wasn't. For Premier League Hall of Fame, I could say, yeah. I wouldn't say you're the greatest player of all time for basically besting what we had. Four or five good seasons, 2 titles and a European Cup. Like, listen, George Best is in the conversation.
That's not a bad career. If I could have 5 years
I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't even put George Best as the greatest United player of all time.
Because Bobby Charlton was better.
I would, and that's not disrespect to George Best.
Is that because of Bobby Charlton's longevity or Bobby Charlton's ability on the ball?
Every metric you want to give me, his natural ability, his longevity, the achievements. Ballon d'Or, England's greatest goal scorer, United's greatest goal scorer.
Do you think it's a funny one because I always think George Best.
Also, you can't ignore what he went through.
Yeah,
and bounced back.
George Best's off the field antics seem to. I think that's somehow. It's not somehow. I think it dampens his sort of status. As much as, but Maradona's is more revered because of his.
I don't know. I think.
Do you know what I mean?
I get your point. I think there's an element of that with Bestie now with the younger fans as well.
What?
The fact that he was such a maverick.
Yeah,
and it was like, wow, this guy did not give a shit.
Right. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think if you're a bit older, you're probably not annoyed but disappointed because you didn't get enough out of him. Really, like, not you didn't get enough out of him. You could have got so much more. George Best was in a squad that got relegated. How's that happened? I know he wasn't playing at that time, but that should never have been allowed to happen. Do you know what I mean? And again, go back to that point about players of yesteryear. I know you weren't saying the 70s, but imagine if George Best was around now, he'd be getting managed better. He'd be getting someone keeping he probably wouldn't be allowed to do what he did. It's very rare for a player nowadays in this era to be a functioning alcoholic. It can happen, but it's very rare.
The thing is now, I think alcoholism within football has been replaced by gambling. In terms of addiction problems, you seem to find more footballers that are struggling. I think over the last couple of years, was it Ivan Toney and Tonali, 2 real high-profile ones, but you don't find too many that are still playing that have problems with alcohol.
We said on here we were going to do an alternative Premier League Hall of Fame, right?
I think we should start it tonight. I don't think we'll be able to get through. We could do it like a feature each week.
Right, okay. Right, all right. So, the first one I want to choose or ask you about, Premier League Hall of Fame, best shithouse.
Best shithouse in terms of like the dark arts of shithouse. Yeah. I like Herrera.
Oh, and Herrera.
I was gutted when he left. You know, I was. Did you see there were some interviews recently with him where he was crying on the couch about him leaving? You're not buying into that. I thought he was. I loved Herrera. I thought he was dealt a shitty stick.
I loved Herrera when he was at the club. I did, and I thought he's one of the few signings post Fergie that actually probably did what it says on the tin.
Yeah,
he came in as a type of midfielder that he fulfilled. I don't think you expected more from him. I don't think he achieved anything extraordinary. He was very good at the job he was brought in to do, which is
I think so, yeah.
5-year deal, did 5 years, moved on. I like Herrera. And if he, you know, if I bumped into him in the street, I'd be happy to shake his hand and say, well done, love what you did at United. I'm not like massively, oh my God, I can't believe we let him go, or oh my God, I feel so sorry for him.
Considering the players we kept and what we did, I thought there was more players that didn't play that were on higher wages or a higher profile player that I would rather seen the back of. Then I think when Ander Herrera put that shirt on, it meant a hell of a lot more to him as well as the wages.
Do you think we should have? Do you buy into the idea that he wanted to stay, but we didn't give him the deal that he needed?
Apparently so, yeah. When you see that he's actually putting in performances, like anywhere where you work, if you're going in, week out, and you know you're giving it your everything, but you've got others who are just sort of showing up to training late on, putting half-assed performances on the pitch, why would you not expect to get more towards what they're earning when you're doing more of a job? It makes common sense. It's simple common sense.
But there's always this sort of, for me, there's always a bit of doubt on who's completely telling the truth here. Because there's always this like,
are you calling Ander Herrera a liar?
I'm not calling anyone a liar. I'm just saying, like, when a player leaves, it's like, well, I wanted to stay, but then when they buy it, then I think it was Ollie who said, like, we did offer him a deal, but we left it late.
Well, why leave it late then?
Because, I don't know, it's the Glazers, isn't it?
Yeah,
but then I don't know, man. It's just, I think with Herrera, good player, did a good job. And
good
I think that's
Shithouse.
Yeah, very good Shithouse. Superb, legendary Shithouse. Is there anyone who's a non-United player who's a good Shithouse? Player that winds you up whenever you play against him?
Oh, you know, he used to wind me up. David Batty when he used to play for Leeds.
Really? That's a blast from the past.
David Batty, Dennis Wise.
Dennis Wise was
because
Dennis Wise was a proper shithousey shit.
Yeah, it's wind people up.
That's all he seems to be there to do, really.
I think, would you say that Vinnie Jones was probably the originator of that in English football?
I think there's a difference between a hard man or a nutter and a shithouse. Because I don't think Vinnie Jones is if you went like that to Vinnie Jones, he wouldn't throw himself on the floor and get you sent off.
Right.
He'd headbutt you. Right. Do you know what I mean? Like, and also, have you ever watched that footage of United versus Wimbledon in '93?
I can't say I have. Is that when he grabbed someone's ball? Or is it Gaz's ball?
No, it's Gaz's ball's right. There's a game, United are in green and gold, and we play at Sellers Park. It's against Wimbledon. And I've never seen anything like it. Like, there's one point, Roy Keane stood behind Vinnie Jones, and Vinnie Jones is sat on the floor, and he jumps backwards as Roy Keane runs past him and tries to headbutt him in the bollocks, right? Right in front of the ref, and the ref don't say anything. The ref just allows it. And it's like, what are you doing?
How was this score that game?
Yeah, but there's one where they go through Cannona, like 2-footed, and he just jumps up straight away, and you can see he's like just composing himself, like, and then all the United players are like, it's proper like old school, like, and I love all that where the players are all getting involved. But yeah, like Vinnie Jones, I would class as a bit of a hard man. Like, I've seen an evening where it Cantona, and he spoke about Ruddock being one of his sort of rivals. Yeah, he's a bit like that, and he's a bit of a hard man type figure. Duncan Ferguson, who's on the
so they're cult hard men, aren't they?
They're hard men. Like, who's the biggest hard man then?
I'd say Duncan Ferguson. Not non-United players.
Yeah, I think he's a proper hard man. Isn't
I think so. You know, I used to always like as well. Who's a Newcastle player? It's Philippe Albert.
Was he an hard man?
I don't know. Actually, he had a very admirable mustache.
Producer Ethan.
Producer Jordan.
That sounds like an instruction when you live in Newcastle. Was Philippe... No, I'm asking you a question. Was Philippe Albert an hard man?
A hard man?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a big Belgian man.
Right,
he wouldn't be the first one.
I never thought of him as an hard man. Yeah, I remember the 5-0. Yeah. We still won the league. Get over it. Yeah. I knew you was going to say that.
Yeah, Duncan Ferguson would probably be the one up there for me. Tony Adams.
Glenn F. Good to see you in the chat. Thank you, my brother. I'm glad to see you well. Tony Adams. Yeah, I think Tony Adams. He's a bit of a nutter, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was a functional alcoholic.
Julian Dix.
Yeah, he was.
He was like nut job. That one.
Horrible. John Hartson was quite hard.
Yeah.
He was a bit dirty, but tough as well. Like, back in the day,
they're always West Ham or Everton players or something.
Yeah,
like that,
it's always like a bit of a thuggish element to them. Who from United would you class as a hard man? Keano's the obvious one.
Keano, then you got to go Vidic, I suppose.
Yeah. I think Stan was hard.
Oh yeah, fuck, I'd say Stan.
Yeah, because he wasn't someone who's like getting sent off and fighting, but he could, when it came to it, he could have it. And
can I put someone out there as a little bit of a curveball for hard?
Please do. This is the floor is yours, Senator.
Raphael. I'm not saying he was going knocking people out.
He needs to fall in. Surely you put him in the shithouse category.
No, but I don't think he's. I think he was led by his heart rather than his head. Whereas the shithousery, I think, takes an element of sort of cleverness.
Yeah.
He thought it was a hard man.
Yeah.
No, he's got that Napoleon thing going on.
And we interviewed him on the channel, sat right in these seats, me and McCullough, and he was a great guy.
Yeah.
He was a great guy to interview. He had one of those. He just told you anything. He didn't have a filter. He just told you. He said how he fell out with Louis van Gaal because he had stitches in his head. Because, like you say, he just put his head... And he said he was in a team meeting. And he said he's playing with his stitches with his head down. And he said he looked up and Louis van Gaal was looking at him like, why are you not paying attention? What else did he... told us a few... But do you know what I love about Raphael? I remember when we lost at home to Liverpool under David Moyes. But Raphael went through Steven Gerrard and just got the crowd going. And he had that element to him, didn't he? And there was always that picture of him in Tevez where he was like, Tevez. And
Tevez was another one as well, though. He didn't back down from the fight.
Him and Rooney together was great as a sort of double act of.
Where would Rooney be as a hard man?
He's a tough player.
Yeah.
He's quite a tough man. I think Rooney came in the era where, even though the players we've mentioned are in that era, I always think with Rooney, it was a bit weird. It's different for him because he was around for a long time. He knew a lot of the players. A lot of them were his pals. So he could still be a bit dirty and quite hard, but he also had that element of he was the England captain, I think, for a spell. England, like everyone knew.
And I think his ability as well.
Boy.
I think he was more of an artist as well.
If you're really top level, it's very rare that you're top level, especially as a striker and hard man.
Because hard man is your attribute.
Yeah, Duncan Ferguson scored like 3 goals a season.
Yeah.
But
This year it'll be 20 years since Rooney's debut for United against Fenerbahce this September.
Sure.
20 years, mate.
Really? My God, now you do feel old. You do now. Let us know. Get involved in the chat and the comments. Santa Knot says Sparky. Sparky was hard.
Yes, yeah.
Sparky was hard. Santa Knot says Michael Brown was a mega shithouse. Ended up putting the boot in his tackles. Yeah, that foul that Michael Brown did on Giggsy for Fulham is one of the worst fouls I've ever seen in a professional game. And he got a booking. It was unbelievable. Santa Knot says Alan Smith. Yeah, then he joined us and he got his leg broke, didn't he, at Anfield? Do you remember that? He's never the same player after that, was he? There's some stories going on about Alan Smith, actually. Yeah, there's not many now, is there? Who's the hard man now?
In the Premier League or in United's team?
Not any.
Casemiro, probably, for stature. He'd probably be...
Yeah, I suppose.
For me, if I'm going out on the town, I'm Martinez. Yeah,
Martinez is the one in it who seems like he could have a row and get stuck in and all that. But I feel as well, like, with the way the game is now, it's much harder to be an hard man because if you're, like back in the day, you see things like, I've seen Eric Cantona once against Norwich randomly just kick 7 bells out of someone. Just ran over to some, like Ian Culverhouse or some random player.
I watched him at John Moncur as well again when he was
like stamps on him.
Or Southgate as well.
Yeah,
you shouldn't have a highlights reel of stamping on people. That shouldn't be a thing. You'd never get away with that nowadays.
Like now,
God miss the 90s, man.
Like you're off straight away. You're off, and then there's an investigation.
There was a thing. Remember the merchandise, and you was like, I've been Cantona.
Yeah.
Old Trafford, which had 2 boots. Mark.
The 90s was nuts, wasn't it? Like you had Cantona climbing in the crowd and dealing with racial abuse in the best way possible. You had Di Canio pushing over the ref who threw himself on the floor.
Yep.
Which was the worst dive I've ever seen in my life. You had players like say Keano going through Southgate, stamping on him, Cantona stamping on John Moncur. Like it was just nuts, wasn't it? Like some of the things.
It was a great time to be alive, man. They just sanitised football with all this VAR and trying to clean up the game.
There was Ian Wright, wasn't there, chinning Steve Bruce in the tunnel as well.
Yeah, I mean, and some of the injuries as well. Remember, who was it? The Coventry lad who got
David Bust.
Oh, mate, that was nasty.
His bone went through his leg, didn't it? Through his skin.
Schmeichel
threw up, and they had to clear the blood off the pitch. I think that was an anniversary recently. I think. Or they did an interview about it recently.
Who is the one player from? Let's go back to the 90s that you would have loved to have seen United play as a cult hero. Is there anyone that you looked around and when you were younger, you were like, I'd love to see him at United? So for me, it'd be Di Canio because there was a rumour that for once when Cantona had gone, political allegiances that came out afterwards.
Yeah, you didn't know at the time that he wasn't going to come out with "I'm not a Nazi, I'm a fascist" as a defence. When I was a kid, I used to like Ian Wright. Yeah. When I was a kid, I wanted him.
The goals he scored against United.
Like, I wouldn't mind seeing him at United, and obviously that never happened. I know it's a little bit probably towards the end of the night. It was back to Stuart, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I mean Premier League.
Sorry, you did say Premier League. trying to think of the players that I really liked. Funnily enough, I was buzzing when we got Luke McCollum. So I was at the first game where he scored against us, but I was even happier when we got Andy Cole. He was just better. Players that I would have loved to have seen at United, I don't know, we're quite lucky, There's not many that stand out that we didn't get in the Premier League that I thought, would have.
That was our MO, wasn't it, at the time? If there was a great player, we will sign him, and it will make us better and make our
before
enemies.
He went completely mental. Like Letizia was great to watch
because
he was in such a bang average team and he'd score so many great goals. You think, he's ridiculous. Ginola another one who was really entertaining to watch. I always like them players that sort of didn't just score goals but would be entertaining while they did it.
Yeah.
Zola was very entertaining. Everyone loved him. So those type of players like his Zolas, his Letizia, those type of players. And I also think it's easier to like players when they don't do anything too devastating against you. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
Because you might go, I'd love to have Vieira at the club. I know he gave the ball away and we won the treble or whatever, but because you hated him so much, you didn't look at him the same way. Does that make sense? Because he was always like that thing of you hate him, so you don't look at him go.
There's no admiration.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. The sort of the grudging respect is probably not at the levels it should be because you hate him so much. Listen, maybe we could do some more of this. We could.
Can I put you on one more question before we go?
You can do what you want.
90s Liverpool player. Who would you put in United's team?
90s Liverpool player.
Which one would you have signed?
That's a really good question. I think McManaman was good.
Oh, he's fucking annoying though.
I know he's annoying. I'm not saying he's not. Honestly, I don't even know if he gets in the team.
I can't believe you went for McManaman.
I don't even know if he gets in the team. But there was a time for about 2 years when McManaman was mint. He was mint.
Fowler though for me.
Fowler's probably the one. Yeah.
Especially at that time when we were looking at signing Shearer.
Yeah.
I can't now.
I think with McManaman, is he going to replace Giggs or Beckham? Probably not.
No.
But Fowler, I think there would have been a time when he got in the team.
Yeah.
We ended up alright because for me, Andy Cole was better.
Yeah.
And Eric was better, so we always ended up alright.
And they kept Fowler and did absolutely now for it.
Just spoils it now, doesn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you look back at how we were.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm going to wrap it up there. Big thank you to Surfshark sponsoring this podcast. Go and check out the link in the description. Using the code SAM24, you get 3 months for free. Also, big thank you to everyone who got involved in the chat and the comments and the super chat as well. I'm going to be back later on. Now we're back by Dope Demand, so we're going to be back this week. We're going to have the Agony Uncles as well. And a big thank you to the Patreon members. We're going to have some extra content for our Patreon members too. So make sure if you're not doing, you are subscribing to the channel. That's been Scotty. I've been Motty. This has been Scotty and Motty. Thanks for watching.